I need a vacation. Right now.
Now this is exactly what I needed.
Alright. Just get this fixed. Okay.
What the fuck? Where did my chair go?
Okay, now that just doesn't make any sense. There's not even any wind out. Well, that's unfortunate. Let me guess. I'm gonna have to climb this tree, aren't I? Why does that not surprise me? Alright, here goes nothing. You know, this reminds me a lot of the Pokemon anime, but the older seasons, not the newer ones, like the Orange Islands. You know, the Orange Islands are
a very interesting season of the Pokemon anime, considering that it wasn't based on any of the games, but rather padding while Game Freak worked on Gold and Silver. Another thing that's interesting about this season is the fact that there are quite a bit of episodes that actually don't take place on the Orange Islands themselves. In fact, the entire Elite Four arc happens in this season, as well as one of the most famous episodes in the series, Go West Meowth. But I don't want to focus on any of those episodes, considering that they're all still technically considered to be a part of the Indigo League. I purely want to talk about the episodes revolving around the Orange Islands. After all, this is a review about the Orange Islands and not a review of the second season of the anime. So, with that being said, let's talk about the Orange Islands arc of the Pokemon anime. We all live in a Pokemon world. Pokemon. For those unfamiliar with this arc, it pretty much has Ash and friends go to the Orange Islands to grab the infamous GS ball from Professor Ivy. However, when they get there, they discover that there's a whole league on the Orange Islands. Ash, being Ash, decides that before he goes back to Pallet Town to give Professor Oaks the GS ball, that he wants to compete in and win the Orange Island League. He goes from island to island to get each of the 4 Orange Island badges so that he can win the Orange League Championship. Along the way, he comes across all sorts of interesting islands and Pokemon, and I do mean some interesting Pokemon, but I'll get to that later. And that pretty much covers the basic plot of the Orange Island arc. So now that that's been established, let's talk about the changes they made, what works and what doesn't work, some of the new characters and Pokemon, the episodes themselves, and whether or not the Orange Island arc is good or not. One of the biggest changes that this arc made is probably one of the biggest sins in Pokemon history. They got rid of Brock and replaced him with Tracy. Ugh. That's right, they got rid of one of the best characters in the Pokemon anime for this poor excuse of a character with little to no personality other than being a Pokemon watcher and loving to draw sketches. Okay, to give context, there are a few episodes in the Orange Island arc that have Brock in them, being the ones where they go to the Orange Islands, the Professor Ivy episode, and the episode where Ash and friends return to Pallet Town. This, to me, makes the Orange Islands feel extremely weird, because throughout most of the series up to this point, Brock has become a very iconic character that a lot of people really like. So the fact that they got rid of him is kind of weird to me, and honestly made the chemistry between the other characters feel incomplete. That'd be like if in Ferris Bueller's Day Off, Cameron wasn't in the movie and it was just Ferris and Stallone skipping school. Yes, it probably would be an okay movie, but it wouldn't be the same, and it definitely wouldn't be as funny or iconic. Brock completes this trio that otherwise would just be 2 bickering kids. Oh wait, that's exactly what Ash and Misty act like once Brock leaves the show. Okay, I actually do understand why they did this, despite how stupid it was in retrospect. They wanted to have a new main character in the show to spice the formula up. However, this fails horribly, because Tracy isn't an interesting character that adds anything good to the show. All his character is being a Pokemon watcher, drawing sketches of Pokemon, and him being horny for Professor Oak's approval and respect. Tracy doesn't have any interesting backstory, any real personality, or anything at all going for him. Even the writers realized how shitty of a character Tracy was because he quickly got replaced with Brock at the end of the arc. Out of everything from the Orange Islands, my least favorite thing from it has to be Tracy's inclusion. Okay, so it's clear that I don't like Tracy, but just because I don't like Tracy doesn't mean that I don't like the Orange Islands as a whole. There are actually a lot of things that the Orange Islands do that I like the fact that the Orange Islands is unlike any other season of the Pokemon anime. Instead of Ash getting 8 badges and then going to the Elite Four to lose like he does in the Indigo League, placed in the top 16%. Ash has to get 4 badges through doing some non-traditional tasks that help him bond with his Pokemon. The episodes where he gets badges are actually some of the more interesting ones in the bunch. They kind of remind me of something that you would see in the first few seasons of Hunter x Hunter. And the best part is that he actually wins the Orange Island League Championship, which from what I understand is one of the only times he actually wins a league championship. And my favorite thing about the Orange Islands is the fact that there are some really interesting Pokemon within the region that we never see in any of the other main games. The 2 best examples of this are the Pokemon from the Pink Island episode and the Crystal Onyx. Man, when I first saw the Crystal Onyx episode, I actually thought it was real and tried to find it in my Fire Red game, but was sad to find out that it wasn't real and that I wasted 2 hours roaming around Kanto. Remember, this was during a time before using the internet to look up things was a common practice. Regardless, some of these Pokemon and the episodes they come from are famous because it was one of the first times that the anime had exclusive Pokemon. The first time was of course in the Indigo League with the Venustoise and the clone Pokemon in the first movie. However, the Orange Islands didn't consist entirely of new versions of Pokemon. Most episodes revolved around a new Pokemon of the week. But the problem with this is that we already went through Kanto and saw a majority of the first 150 Pokemon. So, how did the Orange Islands solve this issue? Well, they didn't. They had episodes where they reintroduced Pokemon that they already covered previously. Now, this isn't really an issue if the episodes are different enough from the original and are good. And let me tell you, the episodes with Magikarp suck. And yes, I said episodes. They made 2 different Magikarp episodes, both of which are horrible. But I'll talk about that later. Now, not all of the episodes that reintroduce an old Pokemon are bad by any means. It's just that some of them were really painful to watch. There were episodes that reintroduced Pokemon that were pretty good, like Tracy Gets Bugged, Pikachu Revolt, and a ship full of shivers. However, there is one major problem that is apparent in almost every single episode of the Orange Islands, and that is Team Rocket. Okay, I know I might get some flack for this, but let me explain. For starters, I really do love Jessie, James, and Meowth. In fact, they are my favorite characters in the anime. But what I don't like about them is the fact that the writers have to include them as the main villain for every episode except for 3 or 4 of them. Even if the episode is really important to the story of the show, they still find a way to force them in, even if it is only for 4 or 5 minutes. To show what I mean, let's quickly look at the episode Pokemon Double Trouble. In the episode, Ash gets to one of the many new islands to face off with the 4th and final gym leader. The gang gets to the island and meets the 4th gym leader, but they don't discover who she is until Team Rocket shows up for 4 or 5 minutes to cause mayhem, and then get quickly defeated. Now, you could argue that they were put in the episode to move the plot forward. While you would technically be right, it doesn't change the fact that this is an extremely lazy way of doing this. Especially if every single episode does this to move its plots forward. Also, this is the 4th time that they've done this in the Orange Island arc alone. So we didn't need this whole unnecessary and boring fight to reveal that this chick is the 4th gym leader. Because let me tell you, it's pretty damn obvious. Team Rocket is the villain of the Orange Island arc for more than 90% of it, which is crazy to me. You would think after a while they would at least change that aspect of the show a little bit. So while the Orange Islands has a lot of unique and interesting concepts, The overall structure of the show hasn't changed from the Indigo League season of the anime. Okay, now that I've covered what's good and bad about the structure of the Orange Island arc, let's focus on some of the best and worst episodes from the Orange Islands.
Got it! Fuck! Okay, it's fine, as long as the chair doesn't... Oh, god dang it! Okay. Alright, where is my beach chair? There it is! Okay, back to the Orange Islands. So, where was I? Oh yeah, I was talking about
some of the best and worst episodes of the arc. Let's start with the better episodes because I'm gonna lose my mind talking about the really bad ones. Out of all 36 Orange Island episodes, my favorite ones have to be Pikachu Revolt, the Crystal Onyx, A Ship Full of Shivers, Pokemon Food Fight, and the Stun Spore Detour. All these episodes are great for different reasons, but they all have one common theme, being that they stray away from the classic Pokemon formula. In Pikachu Revolt, Butch and Cassie are the main villains of the episode instead of Jesse and James. God, I love Butch and Cassie so much. I wish they were in more episodes. Fucking damn it, why the fuck haven't they come back? Where is Butch and Cassie? The Crystal Onyx episode revolves around an exclusive Pokemon with a lot of lore and mystery surrounding it. A Ship Full of Shivers has a wonderful story that makes the Pokemon and the one-off characters featured in the episode feel unique and give them dimensions. Pokemon Food Fight is a delightful episode that embellishes Ash and Misty's chemistry and is actually pretty funny. And the Stun Spore Detour completely does its own thing and doesn't follow the traditional formula at all. I actually would review this episode individually because I think it's that good. When it comes to me and my favorite episodes from the Orange Islands, the best ones are the ones that stray away from the formula a little bit because it doesn't seem like I'm watching the same episode over and over again with a different Pokemon and Team Rocket scheme. The latter is the case for the worst episodes from the season. Speaking of which, some of my least favorite episodes from the Orange Islands that are the prime example of recycling old ideas, having no substance, and just no fun to watch are Shell Shock, The Joy of Pokemon, The Wacky Watcher, and The Underground Roundup. I would like to point out that out of these 5 episodes, 2 of them are episodes that revolve around Magikarp, and one of the episodes is quite literally an exact copy of Attack of the Prehistoric Pokemon, right down to them using the same Pokemon featured in that episode. I wish I was kidding. All of these episodes are boring to watch, have an already used or very close to used plot with a lame Team Rocket scheme that is thrown into the episode because they just have to have Team Rocket appear in the episode somewhere or else all hell would break loose. Out of all the episodes, I think my least favorite one has to be The Joy of Pokemon. This episode is by far the worst offender of everything that is wrong with the Orange Islands. And surprise, surprise, it's one of the 2 Magikarp episodes. Shocker, I know. As for the rest of the episodes, they're pretty average, with most of them being more so good than bad ones. So now that I've covered everything I wanted to, let's talk about what I think of the Orange Islands as a whole. Well, in short, I do like the Orange Islands, even though I've been shitting on it pretty hard. While the Orange Islands do a lot of things wrong and can be lazy, there are enough good episodes and really cool concepts to make up for all the mistakes it made. Plus, I do understand the writers had very strict guidelines to follow and some of the episodes were rushed to be made. So I'm pretty impressed with what this arc accomplishes with the restrictions it had. Also, as I mentioned before, the writers had nothing to go off of since the Orange Islands were completely original and not based off of anything. So the next question y'all might be wondering about now is, do I think the Orange Island episodes are better than the Indigo League ones? Ha! No. No, I don't. However, I will say that there are some Orange Island episodes that I like more than any of the episodes from the Indigo League, like the Stun Spore Detour and Pikachu Revolt. But as a whole, Indigo League's episodes are better than the Orange Island ones. So in summary, I actually like the Orange Islands despite all its glaring issues. It has some really interesting Pokemon and characters, it's different from any other season of the Pokemon anime, and it has the... oh my god, I completely forgot about the fucking GS Ball. Fuck that shit. Okay, never mind, the Orange Islands suck ass, don't even bother to watch that shit. The GS Ball is the biggest fuck god in the whole series. I guess I'm gonna have to give context now, aren't I? Okay. The GS Ball was a big plot point in the Orange Islands that was gonna set up the introduction of Celebi in the anime. But because they decided to make a completely different movie with Celebi, the GS Ball was shoved under the rug and to be forgotten about. But I didn't forget. I've never forgotten. And I never will. Okay, but for real though, the Orange Islands is pretty good. Just ignore anything that has to do with the GS Ball and you'll be fine.
I got it! Again! Okay. Okay. Now, I can relax. Are you fucking serious? Oh my gosh. Alright, well, vacation's over.
Now that Ryan has reviewed the Orange Island season of the Pokemon anime, does this mean that he will review other seasons from the Pokemon anime? Or better yet, does this mean that he will review anime on his channel now?
No, it does not mean I'll review anime. I just like Pokemon, okay? Don't get fucking people's hopes up.
Sorry, I didn't mean to give your viewers a sense of false hope.
Great. Now I'm gonna have people in the comments asking me to do anime reviews. Thanks a lot, asshole.
Nope. Just to give you context, there was a hornet. That's gonna be really good outro footage.